going to be showing you some things that I think, again, are fundamental to what you need to know as consultants if you want to be in the business, if you want to see success, if you really want to do again, if you want to see success in consulting. I mean, it's really pretty simple. And what he's going to be showing you, you might think that, you know what, I never did really consider this. I never did really take, these very sound principles seriously, but you're going to see how they work, why they work, and why they're important. And again, not only is Brian, I think, credible, but he's a friend. And so even if all that aside, I think what he's got to say is going to be worth your time. Whatever you're doing, just kind of really focus in on what he's going to be talking about. I'm going to turn the controls over to him so he can get started. I really don't want to waste any of his time. And again, really zone in on what he's saying tonight, guys. This is going to be, I think, again, just a key point in your consulting business. And if you take to heart the things that he's saying, you're going to make money in consulting. So if you're tired of shiny objects, again, this is going to be for you. So with that, Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Super. Now you can hear my voice as well. So
I can hear you.
I got to tell you, I'm honored because you're someone that I have learned from, Charles, and someone that I truly respect. And so to be invited into your community really is very meaningful for me. So if everybody could just type in the chat box, is everybody able to hear me okay? And see my screen? I'm not blessed.
Okay. Yep, everybody can see you, Brian, and hear you.
Okay. I'm not blessed to have the same wonderful voice that you have. You've got a golden voice, Charles. And, I tell you that every time I talk to you.
Thank you.
So let's jump right in because what I have to share really will change your business. And I'm going to share with you a lot tonight. I'm going to give you lots of what I like to call writer-downers, little gold nuggets that you can use in your business and really in your life. And I'm going to share my story with you. And so really what this is all about are really 3 simple secret sentences. And they're secret because no one's ever told them to you. But I'm going to tell them to you tonight, and you'll see very quickly how they can position you not only as the obvious expert, the obvious go-to person, but much more importantly, it will be able to produce a flood of buyers who are now chasing you. See, life is all about, and you'll hear me say this numerous times, life, everything in life, your business life and your personal life, it's all about who's chasing who. And so what you're going to learn are 5 tested and proven steps, very simple steps, but what we all want, which are to get paying clients calling us, and without any fancy software, without any social media, without any shiny objects, and without spending one dime on ads. So who am I? And, maybe the first lesson here is that you always need to be careful who you listen to, or you're going to wind up taking many, many costly detours. Type in the chat box if you have ever gone on a wild goose chase, ever tried listening to someone and just simply didn't pan out. Maybe they were scam artists or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you just didn't dig in deep enough. I'd like to just get some sense. Has anybody tried anything recently that didn't work? Or have you tried something that did work and it's working fine for you? I don't know, Charles. I can't see the chat box, so I'm not able to see what people are typing in for some reason.
Yeah, let's see. A couple of people are saying, yeah, of course, WSO land. A friend of mine says, do we have to admit it? And somebody else said, yes, they make it so exciting. Kaleem,
Well,
Kaleem said, make it so exciting.
That's absolutely true. And I'm going to share with you my story. So the first lesson, be careful who you listen to. My story, I grew up in a family that, we clearly were not wealthy. We were not poor. I didn't have to walk to school, with no shoes and snow. That story. But my family was, I'd say lower middle class. My father had a shoe store, didn't do very well. I went to work when I was 14. When I was a senior in high school, my dad got very ill, and I wound up, as an only child, really having to take over the business and run the household. College really wasn't for me. And actually, I'd like to ask the group, and Charles, I hope you don't mind being my eyes and ears tonight.
No, it's no problem.
You may have heard this, Charles. I'm not sure if I ever shared this story with you, but do you know about my last day of college?
You know what? I think when we first met down in Baltimore, you told me, but yeah, why don't you tell them again?
Well, I'm going to share with you my last day of college. I only went to college really sort of to amuse my parents because no one in my family had ever gotten a college degree, and they wanted me to be the first. Unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen. But I told you, my parents had a shoe store, and what happened was a manufacturer opened up a store right down the street from our store, and they were selling shoes retail cheaper than we could buy from them wholesale. So just to make that a little clearer, we would buy a pair of shoes from them for $10. They were actually selling them in their retail store now for $8. So I'm in a business class, and this is sort of like real world, life or death kind of situation. And I get up during the class and I ask the professor, well, professor, what do we do? And he said, Mr. Sachs, that's not being covered in this class, so please sit down. Well, Charles knows me well enough to know I'm a pretty obstinate fellow and knows not really in my vocabulary. And so I let a little bit of time go by, and I got up and asked him again. And he said, Mr. Sachs, we're not covering that. I've already told you that. Please sit down. Well, I got up a third time, and I asked him, and he said, Mr. Sachs, if you ask me again, I'm going to ask you to leave the room. And I can't because this is a rated G webinar. I can't tell you what I really said to him in the class, but I basically told him what he could do with his textbook. And so I'd like to ask the group, what would you do in a situation like that? Pretend that you have a business and the company you are buying your product from is actually selling it retail down the street from you, competing for less than you're able to buy it for wholesale. What would you do? And I'd like you to type that in the box because Charles will tell me what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just type it right in their box. What would be your response?
What would you do? What would you do?
It's okay. Keith. Okay. Keith Kaiser says differentiate. Dr. Keith says specialize or change products. Okay, anybody else? What would you do, guys? Just there's no right or wrong answer in there. Just put in there what you would do.
Oh, there is a right or wrong answer.
Oh, there is. Okay, I take that back. We just say
there
that.
is a right or wrong answer, but that's okay. I don't want to scare anyone because we're not going to call anyone out here. But this is real world. I mean, this is a real world scenario. And usually when I have this conversation, Charles, what most folks tell me is, well, you ought to just go out of business.
I just got that answer. Okay, one guy said shut the doors. Another guy said sell socks.
Sell socks. Okay. Not quite the same markup, but good idea.
Okay, somebody else said. Okay, my friend Deborah says we had that situation. I mean, we migrated to offering another service. Right. So.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very valid.
Yeah. I think Ake or Ake says buy from China.
Okay. Well, let me just jump in, for the sake of time, because I think all of you are thinking correctly, and I guess you're right. There's no right or wrong answer, but there is a do or die answer, and there's such a great lesson in here you know, sort of I learned what I learned the hard way through the school of hard knocks. And it was actually sort of like a kick in the crotch kind of learning, because you couldn't make a mistake or you failed. And if we failed, we were bankrupt.
Right.
And so here's what we did. We looked around at our customers and we noticed that most of the people in this area, and I'm not trying to make a bad generalization here, but the neighborhood that this store was located in was predominantly folks from Eastern European countries, not known for narrow feet. Most of them have pretty wide feet. And so what we did is, in a sense, we stopped competing. Now, on the surface, that sounds ridiculous. What do you mean you stopped competing? Well, we didn't go out of business. What we did is what one of the folks on this call mentioned. We decided to specialize. And so we started carrying only wide width shoes. And now, if you had a wide foot, you couldn't go to the other store because they didn't even carry wide width shoes. Yes, they had a cheaper price, but they didn't have shoes that fit most of the people in the neighborhood. And so we only carried wide width shoes, and we were able to now charge a premium and become known as a specialist. So I'm going to move on. You now know my last day of college. From there, I went into real estate. I got involved in mortgage banking, got involved in information marketing. Here's a picture of me with Bill Glazer, Ryan Dice, and I had Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer as partners. I grew several businesses to multi-millions of dollars. And before you think I got a big head and, hey, this guy's going to go bragging, you know, and showing off, there's a moral to this story. But I'm only telling you this because, again, you need to be very, very careful who you listen to. This gentleman here is Perry Marshall, who is an AdWords expert. This gentleman is the head, he was the affiliate manager for a big company called Agora, which is a $300 million information marketing business. That's myself, and this is a gentleman named Robert Scrobe. It's interesting. This is a little event that I put in, a private closed-door mastermind with some of the top info marketing companies in the world, really. And we had this little shindig I put together because I was the pretty much the affiliate manager for the Glazer Kennedy web store and one of the co-founders. And we put this together in Paradise Island in the Bahamas. You can see my office. It's literally here, floor-to-ceiling information product. And so I want to give you criteria. You know, I've told you to be careful who you listen to, and I've told you a little bit about my story. But here's some questions to ask. Has the person that you're listening to accomplished what you want to accomplish? Are they earning what you want to earn? So, like, if you want to make six figures, why would you listen to someone making $20 or $30 or even $50,000? Do they do it or do they teach it? See, the guy in college, that professor, he taught it. He had no idea how to answer my question. I had to figure it out myself, and that's where I told him that's why I told him in front of the class where he could put his textbook, and that was literally my last day of college. Do they guarantee it? Are they willing to put their money where their mouth is? And the ultimate shortcut is finding a mentor. And you are all plugged into Charles, and that's all very, very smart of you because Charles clearly is a mentor and someone that I learned from as well. But, you know, the one thing we have in life is that's not replaceable. Money is replaceable, objects are replaceable, but the time that you spend with me this evening is not replaceable. And I want to make sure that this time is valuable to you, and I want to put my money where my mouth is. And so here's what I'm going to tell you till the end. And if you don't learn at least one big idea, and I hope you learn many, send me an email. And there's my email address. It's Brian. Oh, I didn't write it here, but here it is. It's Brian@ultimatemarkettakeover.com. Brian@ultimatemarkettakeover.com. Just shoot me an email, and I will personally send a check for $25 in your name to the charity of your choice because you'll never get the time back, and I want to make sure that this time is valuable, and more importantly, that you take away some ideas you can start making money from right away. This is a infomercial that I was actually a partner with Dan Kennedy on, called The Phenomenon. And, it was all about how I had grown several multi-million-dollar businesses in 36 months, how I'd actually sold one of those businesses, which was an information marketing company, to loan officers. I was in the mortgage business for 28 years, and I built a company with a list of about 130,000 people and multi-millions of dollars in revenue each year, and I sold it. Built it within like 24 to 36 months and sold it for over 7 figures. And so all this sounds like I'm gloating and, I'm the smartest guy, but, I spent 26 years in the mortgage industry, but I spent 15 years on as a frustrated one, finally realizing that it couldn't be about price. And that's when I really discovered Dan Kennedy and direct response marketing and went on to build those businesses. And the techniques that I learned are really what I've brought to local marketing and local consulting. Specifically, we do a lot of mobile. But the formula I'm going to share with you tonight, you can use it for affiliate marketing, local marketing. I've used it to sell products, millions of dollars in services, PPC, you name it, the formula really is the same. So, I've shared with you this glorious life I built from very humble beginnings, but I want to share with you kind of what happened after, post-2008. The information business I told you I sold for $1 million, well, those folks went bankrupt, and I made the mistake of actually holding the financing. A partnership in another one of those multi-million-dollar businesses wound up in a lawsuit because I had a partner who thought he could just steal the business. I don't roll over and play dead real well. And all of these things, like I woke up one morning and go, what the hell just happened? I went to bed a multi-millionaire and I woke up broke. Like, how did all that happen? The business model, I couldn't go back into the mortgage business because there's no such thing as a mortgage broker anymore. And the programs that I was involved in, I couldn't teach because they were no longer around. So I had to reinvent, and I had to do it quickly, and I had to do it efficiently, and I had to do it with no money and no technical knowledge, because I'm going to tell you all, I'll make a shameless confession right here. If you asked me to build a website, now mind you, we have a local marketing company called Trackable Response, and I'll share more of it with you very, very soon, but if you asked me to build you a website and put a gun to my head and insisted, you would have to kill me. So I just want to get a sense of how old people are on this call. You don't have to give me an exact age, but are you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s? Charles, could you read that out for me?
Sure. Okay. Let's
see. Anybody
see.
relate to what I'm talking
40s,
about?
40s, 50s, 60s, old as dirt.
Well, that could be like a couple million years old.
Looks like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and old as dirt.
Okay. Well, I kind of qualify as old as dirt. And, I'll be 50. I hope I'll be 50. I hope I'm around to see it, but it's not too far off in the distant future. I'm going to be 49, so 50's staring me in the eye. And see, the problem when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s is very, very different than it is in your 20s and 30s. See, when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even if you're in your 20s and 30s, what do they say, Charles? Knowledge is wasted on, like young people. I wish I knew then what I know now.
That's
because
right.
I would have done things completely differently. But especially when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you need a business that has 3 components, and I want you all to write this down. It must be based on recurring revenue. It must be scalable once it works, and it must be saleable. And the only way that it's going to be saleable is if it is based on systems that are easily duplicated and not based on you. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I hear a yes or no?
Brian, I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. I got a comment here. I'm not gonna say whose name it is, but he's got a real interesting question. He says, bankrupt at 47, Can he recover?
Well, the question is not can he recover, because he absolutely can recover and he must recover. See, failure is not an option for him, okay? So he must recover, and I know exactly how he feels. You know, again, I woke up, I went to bed one night, everything was great, woke up the next day, you know, what the hell just happened? And, you know, most of it really is, as you know, Charles, most of it starts with your mental attitude. But I'm going to give him practical, I'm going to give everybody really practical ideas and actual tools, exactly how I did it and how you can duplicate it. I wish I had this shortcut when I started. I wound up buying all the WSOs and you know, literally tens of thousands of dollars of programs on credit cards just trying to figure it out when it was all like a big duh. It was right in front of me the whole time. But not only can you recover, some of the most successful people in the world have gone bankrupt and built massive fortunes from there, including people like Donald Trump, by the way, okay, and Henry Ford, and many, many others who faced bankruptcy and then went on to build their fortunes, many in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So you got to not give up mentally first, but then you need to have some practical tools. But I want you to have some criteria to sift by. It has to be based on these three things, okay? So here's what we're going to learn. How to become the obvious expert in a niche so you can have buyers chasing you, why you want to pick a niche, what niches to pick, and how to get to them. And I want everybody here for a second to clear your mental calculators. I want you all just to close your eyes, take a deep breath. You know, we all have, Charles, that little voice in our head that says, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just tell that guy or gal to get lost at least for the next half an hour, okay? Because if I could do this without a high school education, anybody can. So, you know, you may find yourself caught in this trap, cold calling, visiting businesses and getting sent away, begging clients to hire you, spending a fortune in direct mail. And I don't want you all to dismiss what I'm going to share with you, because it's literally a hinge. And you might be saying, huh? What does that mean? Well, see, this little hinge that weighs a couple ounces, right? This thing can open a couple 100-pound door. And what I'm going to give you here tonight is really the same thing. It's just a little tweak. And it's completely based on human nature and psychology, which is why it works and will never, ever become outdated. So pay attention here, because, you know, we're all caught in this trap. Sometimes, you know, you want to avoid these things, but sometimes you think, oh, well, software will cure this. Oh, or this new, you know, today the big thing's Pinterest on WSOs or Facebook. Or it's not that these things don't work. They do work, okay? But what I'm going to share with you sort of turbocharges everything. You know, oftentimes I find a lot of our coaching clients and members of our communities, really what they've bought themselves is a job and a boss they hate, which is themselves. And they're trading dollars for hours, listening to the wrong people, and many are listening to too many people. So your head starts spinning. You don't dig deep enough in one place. And by the way, there's a book, I know you're familiar with it, but I'd encourage each and every one of you to go out there and get it. It's called Acres of Diamonds. And it, you know, it's about a farmer who sells his land, and he sells it to his neighbor because he thinks the grass is greener. The neighbor farmer buys the land, digs just a little deeper, and finds literally acres of diamond on that field. Read that book. It's called Acres of Diamonds. You know, you can't be successful when you have to learn about each new business. See, people are telling you out there, oh, go cold call, do direct mail, network at meetings, do this, do that. Well, the reality is, you know, you can't do that and be successful, because every time you work with a client, you need to provide results, and you have to learn their business, and you have to learn their verbiage. That's a big mistake. See, sometimes, sometimes it's more important to learn what not to do. So, going after clients one at a time, we go after clients, and I'm going to show you how to go after clients 10, 20, 30, 100 at a time. And all of those techniques have you chasing people. See, you want to write this down. It's all about who's chasing who. Life is all about who's chasing who. Think about your relationships. One person in the relationship has more power over the other because one did the chasing. But the natural reaction, the natural human nature is, even if you can get past the gatekeeper, and I know there are so many WSOs out there about getting past the gatekeeper. Well, the heck with that. What if we can just get the person in charge to see us as the obvious expert and call us to begin with? We don't have to do any of those things. So, you see, chasing people pushes them away. It's just a natural reflex, and no software or no social media and no WSO is going to fix that. Does that make sense? Can I hear a yes or a no?
Okay, you can just type that right in. Okay, yep. Yeah, everybody says it makes sense.
Great. So let's keep moving because we got a long way to go here. I want you to have a business model you can use now, a business model that doesn't cost you a lot to use, especially if you're near bankruptcy, which is where I was, a business model that is tested and proven. We don't have time for experimentation, and we don't have the money for experimentation. See, you have to avoid tactics that are going to become obsolete. Again, I'm going to tell you, you must have a business that is scalable, meaning it works once and now you can just explode in growth. And you must have one that at the end of the day, especially if you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, that you can sell. So we all know the shiny objects aren't working because, it's not working because it can't work, because that's not the way the human brain is wired. And if it does work, it can only be temporary. So life really can become like a dream when you have this ideal business where people are chasing you and you don't have to do anything. So, Charles, if you could just help me here, I want you all, please work with me here, folks. Tell me what these people have in common, okay? We've got a trainer, we've got a mechanic, we've got a doctor, a painter, and I'm not sure if she's a dental hygienist or a dentist, but what do they all have in common?
Let's see. Okay, service where they work in their business. Akeem says they're experts. Ake says they trade hours for dollars. Keith said they need customers. And Roger says they're focused on one thing.
You're all right, but it's a bit of a trick question because they all need customers. But guess what? If you tell the doctor you're going to get him customers, is he going to be happy? What do you think, Charles?
Well, he needs customers, but yeah, he'd be happy, sure.
Okay, and if you told the mechanic you were going to get him patients, would he be happy?
Oh, okay. Well, the mechanic would not be happy. You're going to get him patients.
And if you told the workout person you were going to get him patients, would he be happy?
No.
And if you told the painter you were going to get him clients, that's debatable. He's really looking for customers, but you could call it clients. Mm-hmm. He clearly doesn't want patients. And so you see why this is a little bit of a trick question? Everybody's right. All of these people need more business. All of them need customers. And do they all need a website? Probably. Could they all benefit from PPC? Probably. Could they all benefit from SEO? Probably. Could they all benefit from a mobile site? Probably. Could they all benefit from having a great reputation? Probably. But here's the rub, folks, and this will hopefully bring it home to you. See, your clients don't believe you have the solution to their particular problem, okay? See, they all need the same things, but how you communicate with them is vastly different. So if you're working with all those different people, you're now forced to learn that language and that lingo and their particular needs at the core, they all need the same thing, but they don't see it that way. Does that make sense? See, the truth is, this is really bad news. Your clients don't trust you. They never will. But they instantly trust what others like them are saying about you. So I want to do a little exercise here, okay? A painter versus a doctor. We just talked about the words they use are different. And the words they use actually are a clue to them as to whether you understand them or not. Mm-hmm. So if your website says, I'll help you get more customers, that's not going to resonate with the doctor. And if you say, oh, we're going to help you get more clients by having a good reputation, that's not going to resonate with the painter. So I hope that all makes sense. I mean, really, don't you just hate it when you invest in a system and then you have to pay to get answers, or people just dodge you? We don't have the luxury to do that. So I'm going to go very, very deep with you here. Ready? Fasten your seatbelt, folks. See, what I'm about to tell you, it's a difference between success and failure. The lady on the left is naturally, by human reflexive nature, she is naturally going to be pushing you away because you're chasing her, versus the guy on the right who just sees you as the expert and is ready to hand over their money. So work with me, folks, here. I want you to tell me what here is pushing and what here is pulling. And these are all techniques that I'm sure you're being taught and that the many gurus are teaching. It's not to say they don't work. They do work. But this is much more elegant what I'm going to show you. So sending an email to a cold prospect, is that attracting or is it pulling? Charles, I'm going to count on you to be my eyes and ears here.
Okay, all right. Okay, so what do you think? Okay, let's see. Pushing if cultivating can be attractive, or if cultivating can be attracting.
Well, when you're sending an email to a cold person, there is no dispute. You are pulling. You are this person. You're not attracting anyone like this person. You're doing this. You're trying to elicit a response, right? Because the cold person. And you're initiating the contact, not them. How about this one? Sending direct mail to cold prospects. Is that pulling or attracting?
Okay, that's definitely pulling.
Okay. How about cold calling prospects? You ever see the WSOs about getting by the gatekeeper? The hell with the gatekeeper. Get the person in charge to call you to begin with. See,
right, yeah.
Yes, there are elegant ways to get past the gatekeeper, but you're still doing this, right? You're working hard. Instead of doing this, just holding up a magnet and attracting it. How about this? Buying Facebook ads or PPC. Is that pulling or attracting? Pulling, right?
Yeah, it says the same. Yep, pulling.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, check this out. This is a trick one, so I'm just going to forewarn everybody. Speaking at chambers or local networking, is this pulling or attracting?
Well, I think that's part pulling and part attracting, but you probably have an answer on that, Brian.
I think you're 100% right, by the way. That is the correct answer. It is part attracting and part pulling. But let me tell you why you don't want to do it. Because in the room at the chamber and your local networking event is the painter, the dentist, the doctor, the lawyer, the candlestick maker, the physician, the workout person, the guy who owns the auto shop. See, remember what we just said. We will never ever be able to build a successful business if every time you meet a new client, you've got to learn their lingo, their language, and what their needs are. Even though the basics are the same, they don't see it that way, and we all agreed on that. So let's talk about this. This is almost a wiffle ball here. Speaking at your niche association event as the expert. So this is the National Tow Truck Convention, and I'm speaking there as an expert. Is that attracting or is that pulling?
Okay, yeah. Everybody's saying that that's attracting. So speaking
Excellent.
speaking at the niche is attracting.
Excellent, excellent. How about if I wrote an article and it's featured in that niche publication? Is that pulling or attracting?
Okay, somebody says super attracting, Attracting, right? Yeah.
Right. That's the magnet on steroids, right? And so now let me share with you something. This publication that I write for goes to the tire industry, okay? So these are people who own service stations and tire repair stores, repair shops. So here, this ad cost $5,000. This article, guess how much it cost me, Charles? It's a very round number. It's the roundest number there is. It cost me zero.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And now here's the second page of that article. And here's the third page of that article. So in effect, I just got $15,000 worth of publicity free. Not only did I get it free, and not only will you be getting it free when I show you how, but more importantly, much more importantly, look at this. This is my resource box, and I'm positioned as the expert. And studies show that people read articles at least 3 times as much as they do ads, which people just scan. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep.
Okay. So, see, you know, when I was a kid, I was a little bit of a pyromaniac. And obviously my parents weren't going to let me have a lighter or matches. And so I used to take, and maybe some of you on here will be bold enough to admit that you did this too, but I used to take a magnifying glass and I would focus it so that I'd focus the sun on a leaf so that it would create fire. So that was like my cheap match set. Does that make sense? And I show you this because it's that focused energy. See, if I moved that magnifying glass even the slightest little bit, it wouldn't burn. But if I kept it centered and I kept it focused, it absolutely burned, and it burned quickly. And isn't that very similar to what your problem is, folks? You are not drilling down deep enough into any one area to be able to get the results. So, you know, I bring this up because, again, a lot of this is mental. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And my hope here is that all of you think you can, and I'm going to give you the template so that you will soon know that you can. So say this all together. I can't hear you, but I want you all to say this together. I know I can, because I'm about to have a proven system that works. See, the issues are the same. As I showed you there, they all need a great reputation. They all need to be found where their clients are searching. They all want and need more traffic. They would all benefit from video. But the big aha moment that I had and that I want to share with you is they don't see themselves as having the same problems. And they need to see you as having the answer to their specific problems. They won't buy from you, and you should be writing this down, because here's one of those gold nuggets, writer-downers. They won't buy from you or anyone else until they feel these 3 things. They need to feel that you understand their needs. They need to feel like you have a solution to their problems, and they need to feel like they can trust you. So, you know, maybe this is the big aha moment, and please share with Charles so he can let me know. Maybe this is the big aha moment that brings it all together for you and says, you know, this is the big aha moment I had. I kept saying, like, why isn't anything I'm trying working the way they say it's going to work? Well, this is why, folks. And this is what I felt like doing. I felt like, not the lady on the left, but I spent a lot of time screaming at the computer. So, Charles, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, just keep right on going.
We getting any response from anyone? Does it make sense now? All this effort that you've put in, maybe now you understand why it hasn't worked exactly the way you wanted it to, or it was suggested to you that it would?
Okay, it's making sense, everybody.
So, you know, look, I'm no Einstein. You've heard my bio, okay? But it comes down to, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. See, I know everyone hopes things will get better. I certainly did a lot of hoping and praying, but hoping and praying ain't going to help you. And I got real bad news for you, okay? You got to have a positive mental attitude. Well, that's great. You do have to have a positive mental attitude, but you can't just think a positive way and not do anything because it's not going to happen. So here are the things that I want you to take away so far. It's all about who's chasing who in any relationship, and we got to get them chasing you. So who's ready for this 3-step formula to success? I'm going to break it down to 3 really, really simple steps. And here's where you want to get out that paper and get to it. Because here's the 3 simple steps. You got to pick a niche. You want to become the expert in that niche, and then you got to let everybody know about it. And I always joke around, that's what they're going to put on my headstone. I want to warn you, though, you cannot be a fake expert. You must know what you're talking about because people will see through it right away. Their BS meters, especially these days and in this economy, are super sensitive. So you can't just be a fake expert, and you're not going to have to be a fake expert. But think about what your day would be like if you could avoid being seen as what I like to call just another head of lettuce. You know, if there's a head of lettuce on sale for 59 cents and another grocery store down the street has it for 29 cents, well, of course you're going to buy it for 29 cents. I want to guarantee that your prospects never, ever ask you about your fees. So you need to start becoming a specialist. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I know some of you typed that in the box. You have to be a specialist, not a generalist. Think about who gets paid more, a dentist or an oral surgeon, or an attorney or the best divorce attorney in town. And this all came to me. You know, I have a daughter. She's 20 years old, and I have a son. He's 17. My daughter, when she was young, she had a problem with her feet, and she needed to have a foot operation. It was basically a foot reconstruction. And we went to you ready for this? A pediatric orthopedic foot surgeon who specialized in ankles. And, you know, we're fortunate enough to live in Baltimore, and we have Johns Hopkins Hospital here. Did we take off work to meet that person? Of course we did. We did whatever we could do to get to that person because, you know, I mean, did we shop price? Of course not. But we couldn't even get a second opinion because we went to a pediatric orthopedic foot surgeon who specialized. Even know of another doctor who has that kind of title. So you've got to break the old rules and stop begging for business. Our job is to position you, just like I've positioned myself, as the expert so people are chasing us, and we want to get them sold on using us before they even meet with us, so you never, ever have to be seen as a commodity. So let's break it down. We talked about picking a niche, becoming the expert, and letting everyone know about it. And then we want to put it right on our business card, and we want to have a tagline that's all about benefits. So right now, let's talk about what niches to pick. There's some criteria. You want to pick a niche that is a mom and pop industry that has a high transaction value, because the one thing you want to do is make sure that your clients are getting a return on their investment very, very quickly. So they're happy with you, so that they refer you, and so that you can sell them more stuff. You want to make sure there are lots of them, that it's not some obscure thing where there's only 4 of them. You want hundreds, if not thousands. And you want to make sure they're easy to reach. And look, let's be honest, everybody's going after the roofer, the plumber, and the electrician, and the dentist, and the chiropractor. There are thousands of niches. You don't have to go after a cluttered field. Okay, you want to go somewhere where not everybody's going after them, and it must be something that someone is actually searching for online, and for, in our case, for mobile devices, on a mobile device. So our niche, just to give you an example, we are the #1 provider of mobile marketing solutions to the automotive aftermarket industry. The automotive aftermarket industry is anything that happens after a car is a brand new car comes off of the assembly line. So if they need tires, oil change, tow trucks, windshield replacement, I'm going to show you how we got that title. And you see we put it everywhere, as I just mentioned to you. This is our website, and it says on there we are the #1 provider of mobile solutions to the automotive and aftermarket industry. Anybody want to guess how we got that title? See, it's right in our logo. It's burned right in there. Charles, help me out. How do you think we got that title? Please everybody should be typing it in.
I know how you got it. Okay, yeah, everybody, you can just put that right in the box. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, Kaleem says that it was self-declared, claimed it, asked for it. It's in the logo.
Well, you got a very, very smart bunch of people because that's exactly right. No one claimed the title, so we took it, and guess what? No one's ever asked. No one's ever disputed it. Charles, I'm not sure if you're aware, and I probably haven't even told you this, but I've just been asked over the last week to speak at the national convention. There are 150,000 people coming from all over the world to Las Vegas in November for the SEMA and Apex show, and I am a featured speaker.
Wow.
Okay? And that's simply because we are the #1 mobile solution provider
Right.
for the automotive and aftermarket industry. Okay? And again, we put it everywhere. But what I want to show you here is, see this? This is the Automotive Aftermarket Institute of America. We put that on our branding. This is a local regional association for the automotive aftermarket. And on all of our materials, we put samples from automotive aftermarket businesses so people can relate to it. See this title? This is a brochure. Mobile Marketing Solutions for your auto-related businesses. We don't send that to chiropractors. We don't send that to dentists. And we are in other niches, by the way. But we are the obvious expert for this niche, and we let them know that. And free report, how to how to profit from mobile marketing for automotive companies. Very, very important. And see, I got to tell you something, folks. Stop right now. Just stop. Okay? I am not in the automotive business. I have no idea how my car works, nor do I care to learn. I barely graduated from high school, and if you put a gun to my head and force me to build you a site or a mobile site or anything involved with technology as simple as a Facebook page, you would have to kill me because I have no idea. But that doesn't stop me. See, it doesn't stop me, nor am I a BS expert because I've taken the time to understand some very, very important things. Knowing why things work and knowing how to build them are two different skill sets. And I have to be honest with you, getting people to build them, those people are a dime a dozen. Now, I'm blessed because I have a partner who truly is an expert and who is a wonderful partner, and he heads up all of the technology, and I handle the sales, and then we actually Tuesday mornings, tomorrow mornings when we meet once a week. And actually, that's another lesson for you folks, because I know many people are telling you to outsource, and that's a great thing, by the way, and we outsource a lot. But if you're going to get into a partnership, this is sort of like a little bit off the beaten path, but I'll share this lesson with you anyway. If you are going to get into a partnership with someone, make sure that you're in a partnership with someone that has a skill set that you don't. Because if you both have the same skill set, see, if we were both into technology, we might fight over what's best. I have no idea about technology, so we never fight. If we were both marketing experts, we probably would fight over which tactic to use. Well, my partner Robert prefers to stay on the technology side, and he's actually got excellent sales techniques too. But when you're going to get into a partnership, find someone who has complementary skills. See, in the land of the blind, I want you all to write this down. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man or woman is king or queen. So how do you become the expert? Remember, I keep saying we've talked about what niche to pick. Remember, pick a niche, become the expert, let everyone know about it. So here's what you do. You read the industry forums. You learn the lingo. And we talked earlier about how important that lingo is. You attend their events. You speak to owners of those businesses. You Google the industry and you read. And you learn the issues and the words they use, okay? The third part of this is how do you let them know you're the expert? You do this without spending one dime. I've already shown you part of it. But you get free publicity. You become the expert. And I got to tell you, these associations and these industry publications, they are starving. And when I say starving, I mean starving for information. You can speak at their events, claim spots, conduct educational events, and number 5 is really a biggie. Have a book. There is no better shortcut. Again, here's a picture of me speaking at their events. Here is a webinar, and what I want to show you here, see, this is for TRAA members only. Now, that's the Towing Recovery Association of America. And you see, when we send out something to a tow truck company and they see their national logo here, what's it say? It immediately tells them that the #1 mobile solution provider to the automotive and aftermarket industry, that this is only for tow truck company members. I got their logo there. See, it telegraphs to them that we understand them and that we are the solution for them. I want you to see how important that is. See, free publicity will allow you to be seen as the obvious expert in that niche. I write right now for Babcock's, which is the predominant publication in that industry. How did that happen? I called them up and said, your people need to understand about mobile marketing. They agreed, and I write for them. Same thing for National Oil and Lube News, for glass industry, for the tow truck industry. See, we're giving them information and educating the industry. And I would tell you, invest, because you can actually become a member, and I'll show you very shortly why that's so important. You can become a member of these associations, and I will never ever exhibit at a trade show unless I am a speaker there. But here's a big bonus for you. You know, we joined this National Association of Tow Trucks. It costs us, I think, like $100 or $150. You can become an associate or an affiliate member, very, very inexpensive. And I'm not trying to dismiss the $100 because that is money. But that money will come back to you tenfold because it creates instant bonding. See, I'm able to now do a webinar or send a direct mail piece or make a phone call, and I'm able to say, dear fellow member, and use that logo because I'm a fellow member. And I can put that on all of my marketing materials, and when I write, I'm able to use this resource box. See how important this is? It's not an ad, and it shows them that they can get more information. See, his free report, how to be found where your customers are searching. I hope this is all making sense. Charles, everybody still with me?
Okay, is this making sense to everybody? I know it is, yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody says, yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. So, see, we're coming on a long journey here, and we're at about midway, but now that you have these articles, guess what? You can start sending them as marketing pieces. You can start using them to promote yourself. Make sure that you have a site dedicated just to that niche. We have several niches, but each one has its own site with its own samples. And on this site, we have a sample of a service company. We have an auto repair company, a tow truck company. See, if I put a painter or candlestick maker on there, that doesn't tell them it's for them. I'm only using, you know, their industry, their logos, and speaking in their language. And I don't have time to cover all of this. You know, I'm so passionate about this, Charles. I could probably be on here for about 5 hours. And you know me well enough to know I could probably talk for 5 hours with no problem. But I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. I mean, here's a sample of National Oil and Lube News. Right on there. How many doors does your business have? By Brian Sachs. It shows I'm an expert. Doesn't matter about me. I mean, these are things I want you to be doing. You know, same thing with tire review. And you see my resource box so they can get in touch with me. Same thing for the tow truck industry. So you know what's more effective. The 5,000 full-page ad is going to be a lot less effective than that article. And, you know, it's all about, I have to come back to this because it's all about who's chasing who. Your job and my job is get them chasing you. See, here's something else to write down. Everybody loves to buy, but nobody likes to be sold. And I didn't come up with this term edu-selling. Someone else did. But whoever did, it's brilliant. okay? See, I'm the expert, and you're going to be the expert very shortly because no one claimed the title, barely graduated high school. No one's ever asked. I'm going to skip over some of this because you always want to highlight the free aspect of what you do. The key to all of this is PR. It's just a matter of calling these associations. They are starving. These publications and these associations are starving for information. The best business book and the best credibility you could ever have is your own book. And look, you could generate free publicity. This is the biggest door opener with these associations and trade publications. They take you very seriously when they know that you are a published author. And there's two ways to have your own book, by the way. You can research the topic and hire a ghostwriter. You can do it on Elance, Workaholics, and I know Charles has numerous methods here for you as well. Killer Covers is a resource that we use to create the covers. You get an ISBN number. I'm a big fan of self-publishing, and I know Charles is as well. And Charles, I know, has a situation where he will create the book for you. You can then sell it on a website, but more importantly, it will get you free publicity like you can't imagine. The other way here is to send it to a publisher and get an agent. Look, the reality is that becomes very expensive. It becomes very frustrating. Much better for you to self-publish it. And I hope you've gotten all of the ideas and tactics and all the ways to pick a niche, become the expert, let everyone know about it. Again, I could share all of this with you for hours, and you could do it all yourself just the way I did. You could buy all the WSOs, you could buy all the software, you could fall on your face, get frustrated, but worst of all, you lose time and you lose money. And that's not even the worst part. What you lose is your own confidence, and I know many of you feel that way, and I know you feel that way because I felt that way. And there's nothing worse than losing the confidence of your family. But really, it's much, much simpler if you could just have a shortcut. And that's what I put together for you. I put together a shortcut. And I like to think of it as the ultimate shortcut of just knowing what works so that you can simply copy and paste it. I know most of you don't have money. That's where I was. I know most of you don't have time to waste, okay? And that's really why we created the Ultimate Market Takeover. Ryan McKinney wrote, grab this, devour, implement. It's not often that you get a brain dump of this level for such a cheap price. Marlon Sanders, who's sort of like the godfather of online marketing. Brian is a marketing superstar. He's one of the best. Whatever he does, you can bank on. That's extremely sound marketing. And I'm not saying this to brag, folks. I'm only saying it because every dollar you invest is either going to work for you or it's not. It's either going to send you down the wrong rabbit hole or it's not. And it's either going to produce instant results or it's not. And, you know, I know many of you may be from all over the world. We have members of our system all over the world. It says, here's a gentleman in Australia. I'm in, there's a wealth of info here, and I can't wait to put it into action. Highly recommend. So really what I'm trying to give you here, folks, is the ultimate shortcut, a tested and proven system that Robert, my partner, and I use every day. See, we have a real business. We're not in the WSO business. We're in the real local marketing business. So everything that we give you is tested and proven so that you can simply copy and paste it and get these people chasing you. And we've done it very much in a multimedia type way. So we've done it with webinars. We've put it together for you in print, in webinars, in lots of different formats. And more importantly, I'm going to do something almost unheard of here. You know, we're going to give you a money-back guarantee, of course. And were you going to say something, Charles?
Well, no, I wasn't going to say anything. No.
Okay. So, I want you, look, no one has the time to waste and no one has the money to waste these days. I mean, things are challenging out there, but by the same token, I mean, Robert and I haven't, I mean, we really are sort of killing it out there right now. But I want you, and so are our members, but I want you to take a full 30 days to review it and implement it. I know many of you are working other jobs or have other responsibilities. There's no hoops, no hassles. If at the end of 30 days you're not happy 100%, just let us know. We'll give you every penny you invested back. But I want to go a little bit further than that because, as I said in the beginning, and I know most of you were on here when we first got started, and I thank you for staying with me so far. I don't want you to have a worry in the world. I want you to be successful. I'm going to give you double your money back. So you try this for a full 12 months, and if in a full 12 months, a full year, okay, if you aren't succeeding the way you'd hoped, send me an email, show me what you've been doing, and I'll do one of two things. I'll either give you double your money back, or I will spend time with you personally helping you get over the humps and hurdles so that you can make money. Because, see, hope is not a strategy. And I don't know of anyone who's willing to put their money where their mouth is the way we are. But now imagine if everything was handed to you on a silver platter, as I'm about to show you, what would your day be like? If your whole business model was just put in your hands that you could use immediately, one that you know works, one that you're going to start working on right away, one that you're going to see success with right away, what would happen? Would your significant other or spouse be happy again? What would you feel like if you were busy and happy again? What if you could just finally get rid of that little feeling that's been going on for the last period of time with you? Things would change. So I'm going to give you something, but I'm only going to give it to people who I believe are serious, okay? I only want to work with people who are serious, and I want to offer you my personal time. And if you are one of the first 23 to invest, I will work with you personally. I'm going to offer you a one-on-one session, just you and I, where I'm going to be able to answer your burning questions after you've been through the system. So why am I limiting it? Well, really simply, because Robert and I are extremely busy. We actually run a business. We're not in the WSO business. We're in a real business, and as such, we're hiring staff. We're constantly, putting new initiatives and servicing our existing clients. And so I can really only handle a certain number of people, and I hope you can all appreciate that and sympathize with it. But, this is all, we're going to give you proven tools, but it's also about mindset. And so I'm going to give you two of the books that really changed our lives, and we got some surprise bonuses for those of you that invest as well. But Think and Grow Rich and The Science of Getting Rich. So I want you all to head over right now, right while you're thinking about it. And Robert, you're on, correct?
Yep, I'm here.
So I'm going to count on you to tell us how many are left just while we're going through this. But I want you to go to ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer. ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer. And I want to go a little bit deeper in here and show you the real done-for-you tools that you're going to get. We're going to give you those articles. So, maybe you were worried about, gee, what would I write about? Well, we're going to give you articles. How about this? Maybe you don't know what to do to talk to those associations or those publications. So we're going to give you a 3-step proven campaign that gets the market influencers to help you penetrate your chosen market. The trifold brochure, I mean, you see how professional this is. All you got to do is now customize it with your own information. Many of you are fairly new to local consulting, so we're actually going to give you a pitch book that you can customize and leave behind with your presentation. What if you want to get a bunch of associations? You saw the webinar that we do to get new customers. We're actually going to give you, okay? Oh, so this is an interesting. Somebody said here, somebody used my Get Mortgage Ready program from 10 years ago, just got a client with it. It's good to know things still work, see? Tested webinar that we use to generate new clients. It's 87 slides. We're going to give you this sheet. You saw how professional it looks so that you can start mailing these out to start getting new clients right away. And you can customize this for your niche. We are going to give you a market intelligence sheet so that you can start deciding who the influencers are, so you can start researching that niche, so you can start learning their language. Folks, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Look at this. We're going to give you a campaign. It's a 3-step campaign that we use that generates $3,900 very quickly for us. It generated $318.62 for every dollar we spent. Can you imagine that? How many of you want to get started with that? So, you know, Robert, give us some idea. It's ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer. Okay? So I see, I want to welcome Tom and Keith, and it looks like Sean. So it looks like we have some left, and we've got lots of new members piling in here, and I want to welcome you. And I want to keep going through this. You know, this direct mail campaign works because of everything I've shared with you. Want to decide what niche to pick? We're going to give you 50-page document just on niches. I don't want you doing what everybody else does, going after plumbers and dentists and chiropractors and roofers. There are so many niches out there that you can make a fortune with where there is no competition. So here's another webinar. It's another 80 to 100 slides that you can use to the market influencers. You could have this for the publications or the association executives in that niche. These are all the things we use, folks, but we're not even going to stop there because we're going to give you our book. We've talked about how important it is to have a book. We're going to make sure that you have a book so that you're instantly positioned as an expert. And again, we're going to give it to you in a multimedia fashion. So you're going to have it all laid out to you as a PDF so you can refer to it and mark it up. And then we're going to also do it for you in webinar format. And then you're going to have the tools to, as I just showed you, this and more, to just simply copy and paste. But that's not enough. We're actually going to allow you to come into a private closed-door Facebook group. And I'm actually, if you're one of the first 23, and Robert's emailing me here that there are 14 left. So 14 of those 23 are left. We're going to let you into our private Facebook group so that you can share with all of our members. So here it is, folks, ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer. I'd love you to be one of the success stories. I see Joan just popped in. Welcome, Joan. And it looks like John, welcome. Thank you. We appreciate your confidence. Our Facebook group is a very, very active group. And Brian Saviano is one of our members. He's in Chicago, but we have members literally all over the world. You know, what I love here is our members helping our other members. He got so excited he used our template, wrote his own book, and he shares it with our members. We're going to actually give you the scripts. If you don't know what to say and you're nervous about it, don't worry about it, because we are going to give you the actual scripts. Again, you're going to have one of my personal attention, a one-on-one to help you with whatever obstacles. And all I ask is that you actually get involved and learn the system first. Robert, can you tell us how many more, where we are so far?
I think we have 11 left.
Okay, so here's some success stories. Hello, Brian and Robert. My name is James Carley from San Diego. I want to say thank you. Look, you know, you're probably wondering how fast will you see success. Literally, we have people seeing it just like James here. He sees success right away, and I'll show you some more of our members. It works everywhere, and you really can. You know, I legally can't make any income claims, but I can tell you that we are in the way of launching a 7-figure business based on what I'm teaching you. These are tested and proven strategies. Jeff Wilson, I mean, this guy killed it. He got in right away, started working, started speaking at associations, And our Facebook group was right there in our community. He's already gotten articles published, and he is perceived as the expert in his niche, and that's beautiful, and that's exactly what we want. Peter Carney, I know that he is, I believe he's in England.
He's in the UK, yep. Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know, hey, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That is absolutely correct. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. So this gentleman, Jeff Wilson, he jumped right in, and he just started talking to a trade magazine editor, and they're publishing his article. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful, and they're reviewing his webinar. Here's an update. He did his webinar, and he's got accolades. Folks, I want this to be the same for you. You're getting everything handed to you on a silver platter. Look, you would invest thousands and thousands of dollars for these tools and strategies, but you're not even going to invest a fraction of that, and you're going to have a full year to test it and get double your money back. I'm not even going to insult you with everything I've got here. I think everybody here understands that really what I'm giving you is basically a business, and in a copy and paste format. This is the ultimate shortcut. Remember how we started. Find someone who has attained what you want to attain and is doing what you want to do, and let them just teach you in a copy and paste format. So I want you to go to the Ultimate Market Takeover right now, ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer, and I'm actually going to do a little bit better because I know some of you may be a little pressed for funds right now. So how about this? We're going to do a 3 payment. How about if you start making money before you even finish paying for it? How's that? Go to ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer 3. Again, ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer 3. Okay? So, look, I want to make sure this is a no-brainer, and I want you all to succeed. That's really what it's all about. We want you to be our next success story. We want you in our Facebook group. So it's ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer. Look, the risk you have right now is really not investing and doing the same things you're doing now. So, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the things you're doing now and expecting a different result. It's not going to happen. So, look, let's address some things. You may not think you can do this, and that's perfectly logical. I don't know how. I don't believe it'll work. I don't believe you. I'm scared. I can't afford this. I'm not sure. Those are all very, very normal emotions, folks. They're ones I have, which is why we give you a full year with a double your money back guarantee. Have you ever heard of anybody doing this? Honestly, type in the box. You ever hear of somebody giving you a full year and double your money back or their personal help? I've never seen it, but that's how confident we are because it's not made up stuff. This is stuff we use. All you got to do is copy it. It's the ultimate shortcut. So will this work in the U.S. or other countries? Yes. The only caveat, and I don't mean this to be funny, but as long as you're selling to humans, it'll work in any country in any language because it's all based on human emotion. How much does it cost to implement? You need to have a phone and you need to have some envelopes and some stamps. That's it. How much competition is there? Really, there's no competition because I don't know of anyone teaching you this or anyone doing this, quite frankly. No. Is this for novices or seasoned people? The reality is it's for both. Why? Because if you're a novice, you don't have to make the mistakes that I made and many others on this call have made. And you could be in your 40s, 50s, and 60s and having a nice, saleable, scalable business. If you're new, well, that's great. But if you're seasoned and you need that little edge or what you're doing isn't working or you're trading dollars for hours, this is a system that works. How much does it cost to implement? We talked about. What technical skills do you need? Honestly, I don't have any technical skills. Outsourcing is really the easy part of this. It really is. It's the easiest part. How much can you earn? I can tell you that Robert and I are positioning our business for 7 figures. I cannot tell you legally how much you can earn. I can say you'll earn nothing if you do nothing, and certainly if you don't invest in the system, you'll be earning what you earn now. And I have to assume that you're on here to learn, and I respect that. My God, I couldn't make it any easier for you. So, think about what you do now when you meet a client. You learn about their business and their needs. You come up with a solution. And now think about this. Isn't this what they do? They listen, they think, they shop, they go elsewhere, or they negotiate you down. Does that resonate with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Or, more likely, they disappear and don't return your phone calls, emails, or letters. We're going to change that because it's all about who's chasing who. You may be wondering, why are you sharing this if it's so special? Let's just take the tow truck industry, okay? There are 300,000 tow truck operators in the country. Robert and I can't handle 300,000. At the most, we could probably handle 500 and have a very nice recurring, saleable, scalable seven-figure business. So that means you can have the other 299,500 people, okay? It's like Earl. It's all about karma. If any of you watched that show, you got to start thinking with prosperity. Stop thinking in poverty. Oh, he's going to take all my customers. Wow, there's a big world out there, folks. So, look, the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and hoping for a change. We know hope is not a strategy. We know you've got 30 days to take this. Don't even think about buying it. Just take it for a test drive. And you've got a full year. And you got it in writing. Look at everything you're getting. It's literally everything you need to have an instant business immediately. And we're going to let you take it for a test drive. And if you go to ultimatemarkettakeover.com, Robert, I think, is signaling me that we have 6 left. So ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer, or if you want to get really crazy here, try it before you even pay for it. Go to ultimatemarkettakeover.com/offer 3. So that's really what I wanted to cover. I really do hope each and every one of you have learned something. I respect your time. Type in the box if everybody's gotten at least 1 or 2 takeaways. I'm just curious.
Okay.
So I see, hey, Charles, great content once again. I'm in. I just purchased.
Okay, if you learned something tonight, guys, just go ahead and type it. Well, I can say I did, Brian, as I always do, and I really appreciate, again, just the perspective on really focusing on a niche and not trying to learn everything and reinvent the wheel every time you meet a new customer. I think that's revolutionary for everybody, who's on this call. I mean, that's not what we hear.
Well, and you don't ever have to worry about the strategy becoming outdated or Google changing their algorithm or Facebook doing this or that. It's not about that. It's about tapping into very basic human emotions. And Charles, you know how I feel about you. I have the utmost respect for you. I only wish my voice was a fraction as beautiful as yours. And, I've got the face for radio, but not the voice. So I'm honored. I hope everyone, whether you invest in this system or not, I hope you've all taken away some good ideas. Truly, I hope you invest in the system because I want to work with people who are serious, and I know you have a community of serious people. And more importantly, I know what we do works, and it's the ultimate shortcut for folks. So, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Any kind of last words from you? And for those of you, by the way, I see more people are now pouring in here, and I'm not sure how many we have left. But for all of you who did invest, I'm really looking forward to working with you one-on-one. I'm looking forward to you being an active part of our community. Charles, I know you're in the local client formula. What did you think of that post this morning?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I have to say, everything that I've seen you post on Monday mornings, I always have to take stock, and it's always a reset button for me. And again, I mean, today was no different. So I look forward to your Monday morning marketing minute, and again, for the thought and reset button. Today was no different.
All right, so that's really all I have. I thank you all. I wish you much success, and I appreciate everyone being with me. And Charles, I can't thank you enough, really, for being just such an excellent host, an excellent friend, and really an excellent mentor to me, because I truly learn from all you do.
Well, again, Brian, I mean, it's always my pleasure, definitely having you. And you might not have even read my email. I mean, I've said this, and I'll say this publicly, that you made one statement this year that to me that probably saved me a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of my health. So, I appreciate you too, my friend.
Well, God bless you, and I guess on that note, we'll call it a night.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much for being here, and have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.